Okay, so welcome to this new session in the course, in the Python programming course. I thought today, finally, we had quite a lot of things we have done, and I had many comments on the assignments that people submitted. Some people are still, you can see out there are 7 issues still open. So some people still need to improve their assignments, and I think some people haven't submitted yet. But I would like to go over quite a few issues that I've encountered, and using that opportunity to show all kind of things. So in our project, let me open this. At least I'm opening is the regular editor that we used so far, and I'm going to open the plants file. Actually, I can close everything right here that I had open. I have the README open and the plans, and I copy it. So we are on day 7, I guess. We still don't have the timestamp for many of the videos. It's quite unfortunate. I hope that people will volunteer and do it. I mean, it's partially volunteer because you have to do it. That's part of one of the assignments, or that's one of the assignments that you have to do one of the timestamping. Okay, let's go to the plans. I'm going to go into the projects of several students, and I would like to make sure that you understand that the fact that I'm showing the assignments of one student is not that I'm picking on the student or whatever, they did something especially bad. It's just that they give a very good opportunity to show all kind of interesting things. And actually, they are the ones who are winning because they get feedback live, unlike the others. So just to make it clear. We have, I saw it in many projects, but I saw it, I think, first time at the project of Yale. Yeah. So first of all, let me check which Python do I have here, if I have any Python. So I don't have, actually I have Python 3 on my computer. It's called Python 3, the thing. The name Python is not used, and I'm going to show you a couple of things with that. So here we need to go into the day 6 folder, and there is this folder, the PyCache. We had trouble with it. Let me remove it for now. RF. As you can see, if I run git status here, so this is what you can see here right now. Let me enlarge a little bit. Is a folder is a repository of Yale that I cloned it to my computer, and here is all the assignments. All that assignments are here, and we are in the day 6 folder. Now I ran git status after removing the PyCache, and it still says that nothing has changed, meaning that this PyCache folder was only on my computer, wasn't in GitHub in this repository. We had trouble with in many cases that people added by mistake this PyCache folder, or they didn't have the git ignore. Now she has the git ignore file, git ignore, and this is the content, just the name of the PyCache folder, and that's why we didn't see it earlier and not now. So I would start to, I see here that there is the test, and obviously before I actually run the programs, I first read them when I'm checking the assignments, but I already read it, so I know I can run the PyTest, right? That should be the way to test, to let PyTest run these tests that are in this test file, and verify that everything works. So I run PyTest, and it says I don't have PyTest installed. And of course, and I know that I don't have, because in the default installation of Python, there is no PyTest. So I have to install PyTest. Personally, I use what we call a virtual environment. I don't think that you really have to use that, especially if you are on Windows, and especially now that you are beginning. These virtual environments allow us to install the dependencies of each project separately, and it has all kind of advantages. But at this point, it's less interesting for you. I'm going to use it, so you can see how it can be done. So I have the virtual env command already installed on my computer, and I tell it that I would like to use Python 3, the Python 3 command to create a virtual environment, and I create a name of a folder. So this venv is just a common name for the folder. This will create a folder here. So if I run ls -l, you can see that it created a folder called venv, and basically put a copy of Python in it. And then I can do this source venv bin activate. Now, this can be done on Linux or Mac, this source command. The creation of virtual env, and actually let me copy it to the README file, so we will have some notes here before I forget. Okay, so this is how I created, and then I ran this command to start the virtual environment. Okay, I copied my mistake here. And just a second, I'll show you. Okay, I can't copy properly. What's going on? Source venv bin activate. I guess I'm clicking on the wrong button by mistake. Okay, so this is the command I wanted to copy. This is how I activate it. You don't see any feedback. I think if you are on Windows, then you have this. Then I think probably you will have a file called activate but, and you have to run it. I don't have it because I'm not on Windows. So I think, I'm not sure, that what you need to do on Windows, and if any of you try this, then let me know if this is the right thing. Windows, I think it's to just run venv, and I think this is the way, venv bin activate but. Okay, it's probably this, I'm not sure. Anyway, this means that if I now try to find where is my Python, and I use the word Python without the 3, then it says that it's in this venv folder. So you can see now that it copied the Python 3 basically to this, and now I can install all kind of external packages like we did earlier with the pip, the same way, but now everything is going to be installed in this folder, in this venv folder, in this current directory, in this current day6 directory of YAML. And that's really nice, because then I can separate all the dependencies that this project needs, or this project needs. And if I go to start working on another project, another assignment, then I can install those, and they might need different versions of the same thing or different things, so that's why it's useful. So if I try to run PyTest again, it still, of course, doesn't work because I still don't have PyTest. So I can install now pip install PyTest, and this one now installs. Maybe we'll see it. I don't know. It doesn't tell me which folder it installed, but basically it put it in the venv lib Python, somewhere here, site packages. It installed here. Okay, that doesn't matter. I'm just trying to point out that it's just in this one. So now I can run it again, PyTest, and it complains. What does it complain? It says no module open PyXL. So I need to install it pip install open by Excel. Now I could do this, but let me use the opportunity to show another thing that I wanted to show, and let me check where was it planned. Okay, it's here. Yeah, it was in the second line, but it doesn't really matter. So the way when we are dealing with a project, and this will be very interesting for your final project as well, but already here we could have used it. I didn't introduce it earlier. So now I need this library in order to run the project. How can you communicate this out to the user, that the user needs to install this library? One way is to put in the README file, just to describe, okay, you need to install this and that and so on. Because I mean, the basic point is that you don't want people to run your program and get all kind of these nasty error messages, especially people who are not familiar, let's say, with Python. Okay, so they get this error message and they will think that your program has some problem, while the whole story is that they didn't install some dependency. So one way would be to put it in the README file. Okay, please install this, please install that, even including the command pip install, how to install it. The more common way is to create a file called requirements.txt, and put here the name of the dependency. So I would even probably put here PyTest. I already installed it, but I know. And then the open PyXL, is it called that way? I think that's the name, open PyXL. Okay, maybe there are more, I don't know yet, but these are the two that I already know. And then instead of installing it with pip install, and let me get back to the README. So we installed, oh, I guess I put this in the wrong file. Sorry, I'll have to move this. This was I put it in the plans file, and that should have gone into the README. Okay, so here I used pip install PyTest, but now instead of that I'm going to use pip install -r requirements. I just need to spell the name of the file properly. Okay, so pip install -r. This means that it tells pip basically to read the content of this requirements file and install all the packages listed there. And just a second, I have to check something. Okay, fine, nothing critical. So now I can write pip install -r, and luckily here I don't have to remember how to spell the word, because I just start typing and press the tab key, and it auto completes. Okay, so theoretically you could use any file name, of course, here, but the standard or the accepted thing is to write requirements. So now and of course I need to use 2Ls in the install. So now it read the file. It saw that I need PyTest. It tried to install PyTest, but it says, oh, it's already there. Yeah, requirement already satisfied here. Okay, sorry. Clicking too many things. So here, requirement already satisfied, PyTest. Okay, this one. And then it found that I need OpenPyXL, and it is trying to install the most recent version of OpenPyXL. Okay, and it already installed it. So now I can try to run this program again, PyTest, and all the tests pass. Okay, and actually for some reason I can't show you what I wanted to show you. It doesn't show up now, the problem that we had. Maybe because, oh, interesting. I'll show you. I'll take a look at this. So I wanted to show you a warning that I got, and apparently this warning doesn't show up anymore. We'll get there. So what did we learn so far is that it's a good idea to create a requirements.txt in the root of your project now, because we have day 5, day 6 of each day, we have a separate project in a separate folder. In each of these folders, so the next assignment, if you need to install extra libraries, then I would create a requirements file inside that folder and put in the README this command, the one that explaining how to install it. Okay, so I would copy this one and put it in the README to let the users have an instruction or made it easy for them to install the dependencies. Okay, so far it's okay. What else is there? If you have any questions, please just remember to ask. Right. So we didn't have a warning here, but what we have here is that it says first of all that we have, where I'm looking for it, I think this says the version number of PyTest here in the top right corner. Okay, because this is the line PyTest, so I think it says it has version this is the version number. For OpenPyXL, we got version 3.1.3. That's how you can see it. Actually, I could run this command pip freeze, and it would tell me which packages were installed. So the PyTest is here, the OpenPyXL is here. There are a couple of other packages that were installed because they were the dependencies of either PyTest or OpenPyXL. We don't have to declare them, they are automatically installed recursively, if you remember, because one thing needs the other, and then the other thing might need the third thing, and so on. Let me search for the definition of the requirements file, requirements txt format, and I also add the word Python just so it will know it. What I wanted to show you is this, that beyond the fact that you can just list the name of the packages, you could, where is this? Where can I see a good example? I can't. Okay, you could see this way. Okay, I'll just show you. Okay, this one or this one. Okay, you can see here that it describes version numbers as well. So it says, let's say, I want exactly this version of something, or I want a version newer than this. So in this way, you could also control that, which versions the user might need to install. Okay, and sometimes it's useful. That's not that critical at this point. I would probably just use, probably put in the names at first, and then if trouble comes, then figure it out. Okay, so that was one thing but that wasn't really the exact thing I wanted to show you. So let me try to get back to what I had and see if this is the actual problem. So just remember, I even copy it now. Actually, you know what? I'll copy this whole thing, so it will be easy to look it up. Okay, so I put it in the README file. It will be easier for us to check it later. So what I do now is I'm going to deactivate the virtual environment that I'm in. First of all, because I've done checking what, actually I couldn't show what I wanted to show, but I would like to switch to now a different virtual environment that I used earlier. So I deactivate this one. If I try to run if I want to run PyTest, just to show you, it's not there anymore because Python doesn't see it anymore. So instead of that, I'm going to start a virtual environment which is located in a different place. And I personally use this shared virtual environment. That's sort of not really the right way to do, but it's the lazy way to do. And in many cases, that's what I do. And now let me run this pip freeze. And this pipeline is a very useful thing on the command line of Linux. If you're using Windows, the bash thing that we installed for Git. It's also available there. It allows me to chain commands one after. So if I run this pip freeze, it will just list all the dependencies that are already installed in this environment. But I would like, okay, so I can scroll here because of my terminal, so I don't really need the other one. But what I'm looking for now is the one about the OpenPyXL. So I could actually do this pipe and then use a different command. Again, this is not Python. It's on the command line of Linux, Mac, and if you installed the bash, if you install the git SCM and you are using the git bash window, then you also have this. And this grep thing will actually filter the lines in this in the output of the pip freeze where the word open appears. So you can see actually there are three dependencies. If I scroll back up here, probably I can find them, okay? But it's gonna be harder for me with the scrolling. It's much easier just to say, okay, take the output of the pip freeze and filter through this and filter in, out, whatever, all the lines that have this word. So we can see all the three rows that had this one, the one that we are really interested. And of course I could have done I could have put the whole name and then I only get this one, okay? I was just lazy again here and I just wrote grep open. I could have done the whole name and then I get only that one. And here I can see I get 312, and that's surprise. Maybe it's not that surprising, okay? You can see in the new one is 3.3. In the other one where we installed the most recent one, but in this one it's only 3.1.2 because I installed it, I don't know, a few weeks ago maybe. So let me run the PyTest here, PyTest, and yeah, this is what I wanted to show you actually, but apparently this has been already fixed. So not really, I can't really show the thing, but this is what I wanted to show you because I think it's again important for you to understand. So we ran the tests and the tests actually passed. There is a dot here and it says one passed. Okay, that's fine. So the code wrote and the tests are passing. That's fine. But we also get this warning. Okay, and this is disturbing me. So let me check what is this warning. And you're going to get similar warnings once in a while. Okay, I don't know. I wanted to say all the time, but it's that like not all the time. But sometimes you will get these warnings. So what is this warning? First of all, the warning comes out from OpenPyXL. So Yael or neither of you can actually have any control over this because it's not coming from you. It's the library that you're using. It has some issue. And specifically, it says deprecation warning. So deprecation, I actually don't really know what it means or how is it used outside of the programming world. In the programming world, what happens is that you have a library like this OpenPyXL. It has various functions. And as the project progresses, at one point, someone decides, the developer decides that they have a much better way to do things, and they want to basically remove that function. Okay, they want to stop providing that function. And what they do is first they mark it as being deprecated, so it won't be available for long now. And they release a new version, and then you start to get warnings if you are using that function. And in the warning, there is probably an explanation of how to replace that, how to fix that thing that is going to go away. And then later on, a few versions later, that thing will be gone. But you had this opportunity of a couple of versions of noticing that something is deprecated, so will go away. And and you have the opportunity to update your code to reflect these changes, assuming that you actually want to go and upgrade later on. So this one says something about the datetime UTC now is deprecated. So actually the deprecation is not from the OpenPyXL. It's something that OpenPyXL was using, was deprecated in this datetime library. And blah, 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 blah. So what would I do if I had, and this is what I wanted to show you, what would I do at this point? I would go, I mean, I can just disregard this whole warning thing. It's a warning, it doesn't stop anything. It will break at one point later, but for now it's just a warning. If I want to be a more, what is it called? A better citizen of the programming world, of the open source world, then I would go to the project of OpenPyXL and report this warning, or at first I would check whether it's already reported. So let's see what can we do. OpenPyXL. This is the documentation of it, I guess. OpenPyXL in the read the docs side. This is on PyPI, and somewhere it's on GitHub, but probably if I go to PyPI, where all these packages are actually hosted, then probably I will have here a link to the source, and there is also a tracker. Oh, and unfortunately, it's not what I was hoping for. I didn't. So this one is actually using something called Heptapod. It's not GitHub that we are using. Oops. We learned GitHub. They are using something called Heptapod. I don't know how much you can see the address bar at the top, and it's basically the same idea as GitHub, just a different platform. Okay, different software slightly. Let me enlarge here. So I got here. These are the issues. Same thing as in GitHub. Now I would take the deprecation warning. I copy paste maybe this one. So that would be the first thing that I do, and search for this warning. Your filter produced no results. This is because first of all, I'm looking for an issue if someone has already reported it. And this is among the open issues, but you can see that there are two closed issues. And here is the closed issue exactly. There are two of them, I think, for some reason. Yeah, there are two people who reported the same thing. So the point is that if now I already know that they have already really fixed it and released the new version, so I don't need to do this. But if I was still if it's 3.1.1 or whatever was still the most recent, then I would come here, check if there is a report already. If there is, I might click on the follow button if I really want to get notified when this issue is fixed. And if there is no such issue, I would probably just report it. So the developers of OpenPyXL will know that there is something out there that they need to fix. Okay. So far, good. Any questions? No questions. Okay. So I wanted to discuss the warnings. Okay, we did that. And I wanted to also show how actually Roy overcame these warnings. Apparently, Roy had installed still the old version of the OpenPyXL. I think now I'm not sure that what's the story there. Let's see. Day 6. Okay. And here I would probably create a new virtual environment and so on. But for now, let's run this spy test. And here we are still using the old. Actually, no, we do get the warning. Strange. I don't know what happened. I remembered seeing that that there was no warning. Maybe I misremembered something. Anyway, someone, okay, now I don't remember anymore who, someone actually had, maybe he had in an earlier version, I'm not sure, actually put some comment on the test or some extra instructions on the test that actually told the test, okay, disregard this warning, don't show this warning because I know about it. So maybe that was him. I don't remember anymore. Sorry, I can't show it now. We talked about the requirements. I wanted to show the project of Yuval, but I'm not sure I really need that now. Day 6, let's say PyTest here as well. Right, okay, so here there are more things. PD read PD is not defined. Now I'm curious what is this, because now this looks strange. So I ran PyTest and I got this one. And so it is the test helper function. Test and the PD. Okay, so this is actually a bug in this code. It's not what I was hoping for. I don't remember how I didn't notice it earlier. So this one, actually, this PD is missing. I guess, I don't know what is PD here. Reads, it's probably pandas. It's probably what it means missing is import pandas SPD. Let's see. Right, okay. So this was for some reason missing from the code. But it's also that in my virtual environment, okay, so the one that I was using in this shared one, pandas is already installed. But if I deactivate that, and I would like to create a new virtual environment here, if I run PyTest again here, of course, it will tell me there's no PyTest. So I create a requirements.txt. I put in PyTest, okay, and slowly we'll add everything. Pip install, sorry, I need to create the virtual environment. Created the virtual environment. Started the virtual environment. And now pip install -r requirements. Okay, this installed the PyTest. Now I can run PyTest, and it will complain about NumPy not being there. So I just go and add NumPy and run not the PyTest. First of all, the pip install. Now, because remember, PyTest is already installed, so it's not that it needs to install it again and again. PyTest again. Now it complains about SciPy. I think that's it. That I need. This is the way I need to install it. In most cases, what it's complaining about is the thing that I have to put there. Not in the case of the pillow. If you remember, there is the name of that we need to install, and the name that we are importing is different. That happens. It's a rare case. We have to overcome it somehow. Okay, so pandas is still missing here. Okay. And this is how I just add all the requirements that are missing. No module name, because I forgot to do the installation. Okay, I added to the requirements file, but I forgot to run the pip install. Okay, so now it's installing pandas, PyTest, and finally it's passing. So this is how and then I would add this requirements txt to Git. Okay, and in the README, I would add the instruction of pip install -r requirements.txt, so the user knows how to install it and how to use the project. Questions? Why I'm looking for this? Okay. Let's show this one first. I'm going to deactivate now and start the big and shared virtual environment where I install everything and I don't care that things are not everything not specific to a project. So here I have this project and I can run PyTest, right? And I get this really, really nasty error message, is this one, no such file or directory, GitHub, blah, blah, blah. So what happens here? In this test, in this project, and this happened not only with Boy, I think that's her name. I'm sorry, I don't know how. Anyway, yeah, it was easy. That's Boye's son, right? That's how, I don't know, sorry if I don't know, if I don't pronounce your name correctly. So in this case, the problem, and this happened to other people as well, so don't worry. The problem is that there is a hard-coded path to the data file, but it's hard-coded full path. So it's the full path where this file has on the developer's machine, which is fine, but it only means that only that person can run the project. First of all, it's a Windows file path. It needs a what is called a drive, which is called E, and many people only have C. And in any way, this statistics Q1 is actually part of this folder. So if I quit this file, this is here. Okay, so I don't really need to for the test. It would be much better just to remove this whole thing and just give the name of the file, which is right where we are. We don't even need this Arden anymore. Okay, so now I can run PyTest, and we'll see if it works. Okay, it gets this warning because here I still have in this environment I still have the old OpenPyXL, but the tests pass. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to show. Don't put these hard-coded full passes, because that will basically mean that no one else can use the program except of you who has that full pass. Put relative passes. So here I put the relative pass, which is what was in the same folder. Maybe it's one folder up and then in a folder next to me, or whatever. You can assume, actually, I think that's the right thing to assume, that this PyTest is going to be executed from the root of the current project, which not the root of the repository, because in this repository we have several projects. For each day we have a separate project. So from the root of the project, which is in this case day 6. So this is one thing. Where is the other? Maybe it's here. Okay, I don't know what is this doing. Let me check the test. So the test is using the data distribution. Okay, here too. Okay, so several things I would like to show. Okay, so this is the main program. Okay, and the main program too has this hard-coded path, which has again it has the issue that no one else can use this program without editing the program. And you usually don't want your users, to edit your program. You want them to use it as a black box, just run it. The program will maybe ask questions, or the user has to provide data somehow, but you don't want the user to edit your code. That's one thing. So in this case, we don't even want this one, that in the test is fine. So in the test, it's fine. Here, we don't want it because we actually want the user to provide the name of a file, not just the one that we have in the repository. So you will want to use this program probably on several different files that were, I don't know, came from several different experiments. So here is the idea of how do you get this, the name of the file, and then we learned two ways to do that. We learned either to ask the user with the input function, and that's the, I don't know, that's one way. I wouldn't even say that's the most user-friendly, and probably not. And the other one is to use the command line and use the sys.argv to get the values from the command line and to let the user say, okay, Python, name of the program, and name of the file, and that's how the user can provide you the file. And then there is a third way that I think some people use, so I recommend that you look around other people's projects. They use the TK to create a pop-up window that will allow the user to select a file. That has also advantages and disadvantages. So this is one thing. Now, several people. Okay, again, any questions? No one asking questions. That's either because you're not here, you don't hear me, or just everything is perfect. I don't know.
We can hear you. It's fine.
Okay, at least that's good. Okay, thank you. So several people use this construct. Okay, and I wanted to. I wasn't sure if I want to explain what it is. I'm quite sure that most people just copy pasted it, as I did in the first, I don't know, 1 year when I was using Python. So it's not a problem, but it's a good idea to actually understand what this does. And I have one example here, actually, with Meir. I had this example that can show why it's useful, this thing. So I'm switching over to day 06 of Meir. Now, at first, we won't see the problem. I can run PyTest here, almost, if I type it correctly, and test passes. And let's look at the test. So the test looks like this. It imports from this manipulating CSV, imports a function, compute stats. Let me see it. The test calls that, and then it checks whether the returned value is something. So let's see this manipulating CSV. And in the manipulating CSV, we have the compute function, the compute stats function, but we also have some commands here. Now, we didn't see this because these didn't see the impact of these because these don't show anything. But what if I had, but also if I, before I make the changes, if I actually run this program manipulating CSV, so I Python manipulating CSV, actually it did print something. Oh. So wait a second. Okay, data normalized. Okay, sorry. Let me run this again, the PyTest. So here we don't see anything. If I run it with the -s, then it will actually reveal all those extra printouts that the main program does. You know what? Here, I think I can actually even show you why this problematic. So let's say I have this exit one here. Okay, why? Because the developer thought that it's a good idea to actually exit with the program. Fine. Now let me run the PyTest. PyTest. I think this will, yes, okay. So now it blew up and it says trouble. Okay. What happened? Why did this exit that has nothing to do with the program, that with the function that we were testing, right? It's outside the function. Let me get back here. The test is only calling the compute stat function. okay? And the compute stat, I didn't change the compute stat. So how did this exit now break all the tests? And in order to show, and so what happens, okay? Let me actually show you a simplified version here, okay? I'm going to switch to a different window, and mkdir day 07. I'm creating here a separate folder, and I'm going to create here. And I'm using now the editor, which is called Vim. I prefer it to Visual Studio Code. It's much faster in many cases. So I have this, let's say, application that has a function do something. Okay, and it prints out do something. Okay, obviously it should also do something, but for now I just want to make sure that you can see that it's running the do something. And then I have this print before, then I call do something, and then I say print after. So far, I think everything will be fine. Python 3, okay. Let's do this source when because I will forget to write Python. Okay, so I run Python, and you can see it printed out before, then the do something, and then after. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, so first it printed out the before, then it was calling the do something. So this was printed, and then the after. So far, so good. Now, what if I would like to either write a test, okay, for this, so I have a test something, or write another file, use up.py, which is basically the same, but in this way, it's going to be easier to show than in the test. And then here I'm going to say from up import do something. Okay, and then I just say print you use up first step, then I call, and that's it for now. Okay, now what if I run this one, use up? So it now first printed the before. I didn't tell it to do anything, right? I just use up. I don't, without even with this one. Okay, I just started to write nothing. I didn't tell it to do anything except loading the do something function, loading the up module, and loading the do something function. And even though that I didn't tell it anything, it already executed the before, the do something, and the after. Because what happens, and now that when you import a module, Python already executes everything that's outside of the functions. So you have to be careful that in modules or whatever you test this way, there won't be anything outside. Except, okay, so okay, outside of the def. So it's okay, it might be not clear totally. Let me comment this out. Okay, so in this case, when I run app, the app.py, it will only print before and after because we don't call the do something. So let me show you Python app. It only called before and after. That's so far okay, right? Because this is what I told it to do. Good. Now let's switch to the other one. The other one, this use up, only imports the do something function and doesn't call anything. What happens now if I run use app? it also prints before and after. I didn't tell it to do anything, but because these were outside of the do something function, or any function for that matter, because of that, even just by loading them, they were already executed. And this is usually not what you want. So either you put everything into functions, okay? So you put, let's say, def main, and then everything is in here, right? But then you still, but then if I run Python app, first of all, Python use app, now it doesn't print anything, it didn't do anything. So we achieved what we wanted, that just by importing a module, it won't execute any code. But the problem is now that if I run appy, that doesn't do anything either, right? Why? Because we didn't call the main function here. We just have the main function and the do something function. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to call the main function. Almost good, but now we are back to the same problem, right? Now, if I run Python app, now it works fine. But if I run Python use app, again, it also prints the before and after. Why? Because now this calling of the main function is outside. So you see, it seems that we can't escape this. Either we have something in the main part and in the outside of the functions, and then it will be always called, or both when we run the program and when we import, or we don't have there, and then it will work neither when we run the program, neither when we import it. And that's where what this comes from. If name equal to main, the main. Okay, let's see what happens now, and then I explain it. Python app. Now it runs the before and after. Python use app. Now it doesn't, right? So this is basically what we wanted to achieve, that if I run this app Python, then it will execute this line, this main line. And if I import the module, then it won't execute. Okay, so let's leave this as a cliffhanger, and let's have 10 minutes break. And then now it's 10 o'clock, right? 5 to 10, so it's 5 past 10. We are continuing, okay? With the explanation. If you want to hear it, please join back in the next video. Bye.